Overall, Techley was enjoying the war. It was a good one so far. It was good to have one after so long, even if it was just a border dispute. He was a soldier after all, and war was good for business. The fast-paced hit-and-run doctrine of the Fraxis was working too against the slower defensive strategies the Raskteli were so well known for. The bigger reptilians needed calories to operate at full capacity, otherwise they become lethargic as their metabolism slowed to compensate. Cutting off their supplies had proved effective at limiting their expansion, which was why he was here after all, looking for caravans. Techley watched through his reconnaissance lens, helping to focus his compound vision as the heavy Raskteli vehicles rumbled down the valley, noted heading to reinforce the newest base. Convoy now moving through Delta Sector as predicted, he signaled to the waiting ambush force. Really, it was all going very well. He had been waiting here against the rocky outcropping for hours, his dull carapace rendering him practically invisible against the barren landscape. Which was why it was really such a surprise when the rocks around him exploded. Oh, he thought to himself, they saw me. Techley did his best to shield himself as rocks and debris scattered around the place. He dived for cover behind another, hopefully more sturdy boulder, but then blackness. Just unlucky, really. Groggily, he groaned and stirred, and consciousness returned to him, hearing whirring noises as his capsule disengaged and the nerve dive gear retracted from his body. When his senses had fully returned to him, he clambered out, seeing the familiar barracks he and his battle group were currently occupying. Taking stock of his surroundings, he noticed quite a few of the capsules around the walls of the barracks were open already, large screens above them marking their status as KIA. Maybe not doing quite as well as he had hoped then. Large screens displayed different areas of the battleground, one in fact showing a gory zoomed-in shot of his now rather unfortunately dismembered avatar drone, simulated blood pouring from various lacerations. He felt a pat on his back as another soldier walked behind him. Cheer up, we might still have a chance. A screen was still focused on the caravan as it moved down the valley. Another showed a pitched battle on the grassy plain. Evidently the other battle groups were being somewhat more proactive than their own. He sighed. Hopefully there would be more battles. A chance to redeploy. He needed to stand out if he had any chance of moving up in the world. Dying like this certainly wouldn't please the battle group sponsors. The screens cut to two correspondents, one from each race as they discussed the likelihood of the upcoming ambush's success. The Raskteli commentator seemed surprisingly positive about the upcoming engagement. Maybe he had given up on this particular battlefield and was confident in his nation's chances on other terrain. Confusing. However, the prospect of a tiebreaker was always good. Another chance for Techley to display his merit. The screens were now displaying the soldiers on the battlefield, their preferred weapons and kill ratios. Ugh, ads. His stomach grumbled. He had been on the battlefield for nearly a week after all. While the capsules could supply him with all the necessary hydration and calories he needed, it would be nice to actually eat. As much as he would like to see the ambush play out, he was sure there would be a highlight reel later on to review. The canteen was quiet. Most of the soldiers here were rather subdued, probably due to their early eliminations. Raskteli and Fraxis alike sitting and eating, as they caught up on the news from home while they had been on the battlefield. Techley received his meal and moved to sit, pulling out his tablet as he did so, a blaring news headline catching his attention immediately. New race discovered. First contact with the United Terran Alliance. His attention piqued. He clicked on the article. A new spacefaring race? This was astonishing. Since the discovery of their Raskteli neighbours, it had been decades, nearly a century, since another sentient species had been discovered. According to the article, a small ship, likely a survey vessel, had been discovered in a mineral-rich system to the galactic south of the Fraxis Empire. This was fantastic news for Techley. As was tradition with systems of interest, these Terrans had been contacted to dispute the ownership of the system with a declaration of war. Techley sat back and felt his mandibles twitch in an approximation of a smile. The first war with humanity. This would be great for viewership.